Hey there, team. So we got a little. Oh, don't look at this guy, please. We've got a little 1v1 scenario here from Ponta. So it was just. Oh, this is gorgeous. What map is this again? Oh yes. Oh yeah, cool. Right, but this is sort of a beginning of the Battle for 5 Armies type deal, but no orcs. Just sort of a little elf versus Erebor, or elf versus sort of Iron Mountains dwarves. It's very cool. Yeah. Have I been on this map? I don't think I've messed around on this map before, but I love that we got like Dale in the distance, off the side, and yeah, I mean this is a pretty cool little shenanigans. It looks gorgeous. I like that a lot. We will jump like 2,000 speed because I do, or 2 times speed, because I think the battle takes a little while to sort of get going. Let me just sort of gush over this map for a minute. Now that's all sort of not accessible, but gosh, I mean, imagine. It's a big issue with like in Warhammer Total War. I enjoy like a lot of the siege maps and stuff. A lot of the maps in general. I'm looking around Warhammer Total War and I'm like, wow, I want to fight there. I want to fight in that position, just off the map. And I see that all the time. It's like, no, let me fight there. Why am I fighting here? Let me fight on that cool little narrow bridge. That was awesome. But yeah, so very, very cool on map. I don't know how long we've had this one. But yeah, yeah, I mean, if that bridge is sort of accessible, you could have some funny memes here. Alright. Anyway, cool. So let's just see. We do have, as I say, like a rather thematic, a Mirkwood force here from Ponta. At the back, he's got his. Oh no, he's got Sindar of the Girdle. Is that where we put the general today? Yes, that is. Then we've got Hiri Lang, without armor upgrades for the boys today. Elven King Palace Guard, double Elven King Palace Guard. We have given them armor upgrades. I'd say I think that this, this is probably not going to be a normal army composition and a normal sort of situation. Hiri Lang, double Hiri Lang, Hiri Oth, double Hiri Oth. In front of them, lots and lots of these Hiri Peng. Hiri Ek, a little bit of a militia centre in the form of the Spears of Ementuir, but most of the front line are these Hiri Ek, with Elven King Palace Guard actually mixing it. Oh goodness me. Okay, lots and lots of Elven King Palace Guard mixing it up in the front line with another 2 units of them there, and the Cinder of the Girdle. So across the way we have got the Erebor Dwarves. I think, yeah, the initial sort of view is that Thorin and his boys are inside. I think they may exit during the fight. Keeping him with the general, that's going to be a bit of an issue for the poor dwarves, because the general will arrive later on, perhaps maybe when they really need him, but we'll see how that goes. The Ironfoot War Goats, the Hammer Guard, double Hammer Guard, and more Ironfoot War Goats. So, well, the dwarves in a rather unusual position of having certainly supreme cav dominance today. Crossbows, Blacklock Engineers, crossbows, and more crossbows. In front of them, some Dragon Slayers, lots of pikes, Ironfoot Spears, lots of these Ironfoot Spears and pikes again, and the Hammer. Oh well, yeah, the Ironfoot Hammer Guard. Oh goodness me, so 3 Ironfoot Hammer Guard. So yeah, this is definitely. Let's see. I quite like that shot. That was quite nice, doesn't it? Yeah, we can make something like that work. So, with the dwarves advancing there. I mean, early, it's always tough to sort of nail these sort of like scenario feels a lot. It's something that I know Ponta's been trying to do for a few. I know he's been trying to sort of do a little Black Gate thing a lot recently, and I always sort of appreciate. I was always a big fan of like Machinima and stuff back in the day, and whenever somebody tries to make sort of a scenario quite thematic or interesting, it's yeah, super cool to me. And if I could edit these things sort of a bit more, sort of, you see all these like really cool sort of cinematic battles and so on YouTube. I really do love them, and perhaps one day I will try my hand at them. But for now, oh, this is PP, I should say, or Pippi. For now, we're looking at this again from the battle perspective, but keep in mind this is sort of a scenario feel. This is probably going to be played a bit differently, but just from the initial look at it, as much as, you know, of course, Mirkwood arrows are exceptional, I do worry that we may not be able to really sting the dwarves properly with this damage, and also that cavalry force is going to be very, very tough to counter. Yes, we've got all of those Palace Guard, but again, pikes are going to try and keep those Palace Guard at arm's reach. The Dwarves of Erebor, of course, not as stubborn as their southern kin, or southern and western kin, in Khazad-dûm, are going to be a little bit more likely to rout, again, especially with their general off hidden away in the mountain, to see if he sort of, wait, did he, oh, of course, I guess he's hidden out of sight. Ah, why didn't he show up on the mini-map? But yeah, so he's all the way over here as well. Right now, of course, the Sons of Durin are 2 hit points. They will not be in the future. They've lost that. Still very, very scary guys. Oh, that's cool. Let's zoom down. Ah, nice, we can see outside. That's dope. I wonder, can you... No, you can't position yourself up there, surely. No, because there's doors. Oh, maybe you can. Anyway, so it looks like there's sort of a little initial meeting from the boys, which is very cute to see. Hiri Peng holding fire for now. And again, oh, adjusting back. Let me just zoom for a sec. I think if firepower is dedicated to the pikes and the war goats, I mean the Ironfoot war goats, they're heavily armored, but they don't have a shield, do they? So, and they're quite... How big are they as a target? Are they the standard sort of horse target? You can see how big the spaces, the gaps between them are though. So it makes me think that the Ironfoot wargoats are a bit like wider than a normal horse model. Which makes me think, yeah, so they can actually take a bit of beating. That looks like it was also for a little approaching each other, having an initial discussion, pulling back to then begin the actual fight. So, yeah, no, that's the 2 generals, or, well, commander here, of the Hammer Guard, being pulled back away from the Sindar. Hiri Peng being pushed up front. Now, what I'm wondering about, are the boys going to be playing this as a normal 1v1 from this point, and actively trying to win, or are they going for scenes? Let's go for it. Let's just have a check. Something like this could be a cool shout as well. Nah. I'm pretty keen for my initial shot. Hammerguard gonna be getting in there to the Hiri Peng. Even some Palace Guard taking a bit of a beating from that. But any response from the Palace Guard is going to be absolutely devastating to the Hammer Guard. So it does look like we've got a bit of a thematic attack here, with the cavalry sort of going straight on instead of really sort of flanking around. Would have been, I mean, definitely hurt the Hiri Peng. Not all of them managed to sort of get back behind the Palace Guard and the Spearmen fast enough. But he's got a lot on his plate to deal with here as he's coming charging down onto the elves. But it's interrupted the shooting as Ponta's really having to just pull back all of his archers. He's spreading out really quite wide here. As ooh, bit of an odd formation there, but I do always like the spears and sword combo here. Whereas the Pippa's forces, or PP's forces, are just going to be the spearmen. It's still Ironfoot spears, and that sturdy armour is going to be tough for the elves to bust through. But that elven defensive skill is going to be very difficult for the dwarves to get through. And as I say, it's just going to be when those Palace Guard are in melee, there's just nothing on the ground, nothing really on the ground that can match those guys. The only thing that Pippi can do is try to, again, come in and out with the cavalry. But with the Hiriek now sort of set up well, yeah, see, they're not getting through that. That massive amount of defensive skill from the elves is good, and spear-wielding elves as well, is just going to be too much for, and yeah, you're seeing this unit Hammerguard absolutely obliterated. Dragon Slayers of Ered Mithrin coming forward there. Hopefully, I think PB is going to have to start being a little bit more free. You know, if he is going to want to get this cavalry used well. But that's a lot of cav, like what, 1, 2, 3. He's still got 4 units of cav left. One of them is gone. My brain really starts to break after 3. I say that a lot. So, but he is going to have to be pretty free with those guys if he's going to make this work. Over here, yeah, Spear's doing their best. But it is not easy. Even without the armor upgrade, of course, the Elves of Mirkwood don't really rely on the armor upgrade. They're relying on their elven skill, their agility, as the Wood Elves do. But the Hammerguard have gotten around now, and they're going to be getting in amongst the Hiri Peng. Going to have to use the Sindar to answer to that. Sindar, though, they can deal with one of the Hammerguard. They could deal with one of them, but they couldn't deal with more than that. So yeah, I mean, Hiri lying there, getting sent on in, those sword masters of the Mirkwood Elves. Again, looks like those poor Hammerguard have been caught up. Crossbows too, we've been totally forgetting about the Dwarven ranged power. So I mean, if that is being sent directly into the Elven King Palace Guard, then that could be great. But we really need Thorin with his Sons of Durin coming storming out of there now. Absolutely. I would have maybe thought about like the the Erebor nobles or something for Thorin's forces, but I guess the Sons of Durin do match this more adventurer aesthetic which they've got, whereas the Erebor nobles are more, yeah, a bit more armored up, a bit more prim and proper, we could say. Dragon Slayers, yeah, doing their best over here, but again, the Dragon Slayers, they're this heavy AP axe that's coming in, cracking into these elves, but which once again is a bit overkill for these elves. These elves just being dainty folk and being able to sort of dodge, bob, and weave out of the way. Crossbowmen here. Oh no, they've still got their bows in their hands. They're trying to just reposition, get up on top of that little slope. Hammerguard, good. Coming into the Palace Guard here. Let's see, it's just a lot of cav for Ponta to deal with. I think, yeah, perhaps, you know, you'd assume like the elves would be winning on the flanks and losing in the middle, losing on the main front line to the dwarven forces. But it's kind of the opposite here, as the dwarves with their cavalry advantage are doing quite well on the flanks. But the centre of the line is where they're having great difficulty. I do love how densely packed that unit is in shield wall, and they are just not budging to the elven spear thrusts. What was that? Oh, okay, no, that's just a little banner carrier. It looked like a very Dalian's shield there. Ironfoot Wargoats here coming all the way around, which, yeah, it's what he's going to have to do. He's just going to have to really push out to the flanks with this cavalry, which makes it very easy to forget about them. Okay, yeah, Palace Guard here, 21. They did turn around. They got a little counter charge there. They're still at, what, 17? Nope, sorry, bang my mic. I thought my cat was trying to break into my door. Down to 16, but those are 2 hit point guys, so we have probably brought a few of those hit points down as well. Sindar down to 11. The Wargoats, that is much easier for the Sindar to deal with, especially when backed up by the spears of Erebor. That's going to be a very easy takedown for them, as these Wargoats are pulling on back. Blacklock Engineers, okay, this was a unit that we didn't really spot. Again, this is going to be very devastating once we get them into melee, but until then, yeah, they're just going to be carving, absolutely carving, or raking, I should say, through the lines. I'm not seeing them. I think when they stand still, yeah, they hide. That's a beefy 2 hit point unit that's going to be absolutely fresh after all this is finished up. 23 Hammer Guard remaining still. Hiri Peng, I mean, gliding off shots here and there. It's a tough ask for the Elven archers. You know, unless the elves really get a shot on their backs, they're going to really struggle to get through those Ironfoot dwarves. Something, you know, I do love Erebor. I think, oof, okay. General dropping. Let's see how that's affected the lines. No. Oh, a little bit on the right flank. A little bit on the right flank for a minute, but no, they seem to be holding their composure, which would be expected even from the Mirkwood elves. They should be able to sort of deal with that morale shot quite nicely.
We've lost half of our men.
The remaining Sindar here on their good little deer horses, pulling off, got a little smack into the Blacklock Engineers. Yeah, definitely this is the menace. But what I need, or what I'd really be wanting to deal with, are those Hammer Guard. Because I mean, at the end of the day, those Blacklock Engineers are just going to have to we're just going to have to make them use up all their ammo. A little charge in there from the Sindar, only one of them left. Seems to just be trying to ping pong around, but not really getting up the space. Oh, okay, we did drop a crossbowman there, but he's going to be very bloodied up at this point. Another charge from the Ironfoot Wargoats. This is actually, it's going from being like what I felt was a very clear advantage for the elves to really quite messy. Now I would say if we're getting an opportune time for Thorin to be pushing out, now is it. Because if he could come screaming out off the door right now and come slamming into the left flank, the elves don't really have that much to counter him. But if he comes out too late, then oh goodness me, like what will there really be left to help? Those pikes. If we yeah, well I guess that's the thing. Like he's in there, he's safe, so we're not getting that general kill. I was seeing they were almost out. They were wavering very badly, those poor pikemen. But saying that, yeah, again, and it's countering these pikes. It's just very difficult for the elves. They can shoot them down, but when they're in melee, it's tough. Hammer Guard there, 17 Hammer Guard, being caught by the Palace Guard though. They've broken the right flank. Blacklock Engineers still looking for targets, still firing away. Left flank, basically broken as well. Or at least starting to fold around. Yeah, so as you see, like if the later it's left, the worse it's gonna be when Thorin does sort of finally emerge. Those 39 guys, keep in mind they are 2 hit point fighters. After they are done with their ammo and they do throw themselves in, they're gonna be tough to best. But again, they need to be fighting alongside something. They're not some exceptionally damaging fighters. Wargoats coming in for a charge into the side of the hero line. Not getting up much speed, but is it going to be enough? It was 94 before the charge. Don't think they really did anything there with that charge. Maybe they hit one or two of the Hiri Peng, but they didn't really deal with the Hiri Lang. But that exceptional defensive skill, being Elven, being a Swordmaster, I'm keeping an eye on that gate. Keep an eye on that door. Just watching out for any emergence of the Sons of Durin. Still the Hammer Guard are active. We don't have anything more to shoot at them, no more arrows. So we're going to have to wait for them to sort of make a mistake. No Sindar to catch them either. Blacklock Engineers are in melee now, which is a great thing to see for the elves. It means they don't have to worry about getting shot at by that body-piercing crossbow bolt anymore. Oh, we are seeing it now. Yep, the Sons of Durin have emerged. They're running, and they are running out. So, but they need to. They're linking up the Hammer Guard, surviving Hammer Guard, but they need to be coming right into the back of this. I'm trying to look for like the Palace Guard. I'm looking for something that can really. There's one Palace Guard there. It looks like the elves. Yeah, they've seen this emerge, and although they vastly outnumber this, they need to be careful with it. But saying that, they need to be careful with this. They're running through these guys. They need to get a break on these guys. Looks like they'll probably do it. And it does look like the Dwarves were sort of focused on pulling toward Thorin with that. So both sides making some aggressive moves, or well, arguably defensive moves to try and link up, which is causing them some problems. A few scraps of Pontus forces, as the real wave of Elven and Dwarven dead is remaining in the centre there. Pontus sort of reforming now. Now, if all these guys were just random, say, humans or yeah, just even like mainline human forces, I would be pretty worried about them up against you know, a full unit, a full fresh unit of Sons of Durin. But these are elves at the end of the day. Still 38 Elven King Palace Guard, but these guys will be hurt. They've been fighting for a long time, and they're very tired. And a few scraps of Elven King Palace Guard dotted around as well. Blacklock Engineers, 18 Blacklocks. Crossbowmen from PP linking up together. Balance of Power is not liking the chances of the Dwarves. 13 Elven King Palace Guard. I think it's going to be... I think a lot of it is going to come down to that charge. The initial charge of the Sons of Durin. Say if they went straight for these Elven King Palace Guard and just came screaming down, we could drop like what, 6, 8 of those Elven King Palace Guard in that initial charge, and then hammer down the rest. And the Sons of Durin, although they are an elite bodyguard unit, they're not on the same caliber as the Palace Guard. Man on man, those Palace Guard are definitely going to be winning. But those are 68 of them remaining here. And as well as that, PP needs to push sooner rather than later, because you know, every minute that we waste, you know, these elves are just taking a breather. You're seeing a lot of them are warmed up already. This is just another advantage of this elven sort of physiology. They are able to regain their strength so fast, and they lose it very slowly. But I say, so we've got these Palace Guard there, we've got another unit of Palace Guard, but it's those two units. The rest of it, it's not that I'm not worried about it, but that's something that the Hammer Guard can start to break down piece by piece. They can come slamming in and out of the Heery line, and they can do some good work there. Looks like the War Goats are going to be the first to engage up against those Palace Guard. Oh, they didn't get their lances down. I think the sloped ground is an issue for them. Hammer Guard coming screaming into the front of that really punished those Heery Egg, but now, okay, no, using their power to get through. And the Sons of Durin have gone straight in for the Heery line, which, I mean, oh, what is that? No, that is a Son of Durin. Is actually going to be a tough fight for them. Those Elven Swordmasters are going to be able to parry away a lot of their blows. I really was hoping those Sons of Durin would go slamming into a Palace Guard, because that's really where that charging damage is needed. But it does look like the elves are going to be surrounding them, and now it's just a case of, you know, how stubborn can these dwarves really be? How long can they last, and how much damage can they do to the bulk of these forces, while the Hammer Guard jump in and out and do as much as they possibly can as well. And maybe can we get some sort of break across the elven lines. Coming into the Heery ping there, dropped about 5 or 6 of them. Oh no, did more than that, dropped about 9 with that charge from the Hammer Guard. And gone away, I don't want to say scot-free. I'm not seeing any dead goats though, so maybe they did make it out without losing anybody, but they did get hurt. Over here, Son of Durin still at 60, so that's 68 at their maximum. Good little charge again. Down to 4 though. They're getting caught, and again, Elven speed is going to be allowing these elves to catch up to the dwarves. They come in for a charge, and the War Goats, they're not as fast as a horse either. This isn't even a heavily armoured knight. You know, they're still slower than that. So these elves, you're seeing them catching up quite decently. It's like the Yari Samurai of Shogun 2, when you click on that rapid advance and catch up to the enemy cav. It's a bit wild, but coming in for another charge there at the back of these forces. Sons of Durin enjoying that fight, but now that the Palace Guard are involved, I just don't think the Sons of Durin have what it takes. Yeah, you're seeing their numbers really starting to drop quite quick now. Pretty sure those Palace Guard, they've got that EP, they've just got an exceptional attack, amazing defensive skill. They're going to be breaking down that Dwarven armour really fast. Without too much of a problem. Only 2 Hammer Guard left. I mean, unless we got an absolutely gorgeous series of charges. Good little, well, that was a kill of a Palace Guard. Always good to see. Unless we get one of those absolutely just monumental, almost bug charges as a Hammer Guard comes swinging around through. and really just blitzes right through a line. But no, I think that'll be it. The Sons of Durin down to 17 now, pretty much just lost in amongst the elves. I was about to say lost in amongst the dwarves, but no, lost in amongst the elves. And that'll be that. But that was pretty. That ended up being really quite close. I felt for such a unusual sort of scenario, an unusual army construction from both sides. I felt that actually ended up being pretty good. Ponta, of course, very skilled player. Absolutely does know what he's doing. PP, the name PP, I feel terrible. I don't actually recognise that name. Maybe he's part of the Death Clan, so maybe he is somebody that's kicking about. But yeah, really sorry. But either way, did a good job. Played his role well here. And yeah, so that a lot of fun. So I do like scenario scraps. And I mean, hell, this ended up actually being like closer than a lot of 1v1s do. Ended up being a lot closer than a lot of my 1v1s. Of course, because I stomp everybody that goes against me. That's the way it works. But yeah, and of course, reminded me about this map, which I totally forgot about. We do have. I've been seeing a lot of really cool Erebor battles with the new version. Some really cool stuff coming out. As the last, do we get that general kill? Must have missed it. Unless he's somewhere. We're still seeing one. There's somebody in there. The general will be sort of the strongest unit, strongest individual model, and there is still that star. So Thorin himself is the final guy that's crashing away, and he will be AP with his blade. Those elves, just a bit too tall for him. Where is he? He must be. I mean, that's not going to show me really. Oh, there he is. Oh no, is that his buddy or is that him? No, there's still two of them. Oh, now just one. Maybe there was a general death, because that looks like a hammer. Yeah, okay, no, we did already get the general death. Oh, we still have 200 frames. Oh, right, are they? What's going on? There he is. Okay, they were pulling him back. Yeah, but no, very cool. Let's see sort of what was sort of doing the damage there. I'm assuming the Palace Guard were just kind of grinding down. Oh, 1985, good year. Let's see. Hiri Peng, of course, but see, some of the Hiri Peng actually really not, but it's just kind of going into different targets, some of those heavy shields. That's interesting. One of the Palace Guard only getting 5. Must have been a nasty charge from the Hammer Guard. And again, 42 as well. So yeah, very tough for some of those guys. But yeah, okay, cool. Interesting. Yeah, wow. So it was one of those Hiri Peng really just carrying for a good bit there. A lot of prisoners grabbed, of course. But yeah, cool. Anyway, thank you guys very much. And we'll see you later.